The first knowledge point of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 is what are the roles of SEC, AICPA, and FASB in the development of financial accounting standards. The SEC stands for the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. They're responsible for enforcing the federal securities laws and regulating the securities industry, the nation's stock and options exchanges, and other electronic securities markets in the U.S. So what they do is enforce public companies to submit periodic records and bring civil enforcement actions against companies alleged to have committed accounting fraud, provided false information, or engage in insider trading or other violations of the security laws. The AICPA is the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. So they have no role in setting the standards for financial accounting, but it sets the professional standards for the professional conduct of accountants by doing things like developing and grading the CPA exam. And lastly, the FASB is the Financial Accounting Standards Board. They're a private, not-for-profit organization that primarily develops GAAP within the U.S. in the public's interest. This brings us to knowledge point number 2. What is GAAP? And what is the relation between FASB, codification, and GAAP? Well, GAAP is the generally accepted accounting principles. This is Luna. The FASB developed the codification to simplify users' access by codifying all authoritative U.S. GAAP in one spot, so they can see it all there. The third knowledge point, what is the FASB's conceptual framework? It's that it helps the board in setting sound financial accounting standards and helps members of the board constituency not only to understand and apply those standards, but also contribute significantly to their development. And finally, what are the 4 basic principles of accounting? They're costs, revenue, matching, and disclosure. Costs refer to the fact that all listed values are accurate and reflect only actual costs. Revenue is reported when it is recognized, depending on the organization's use of cash or accrual method. Matching matches revenues with expenses, meaning that the expenses of a revenue-producing activity are reported when the item is sold, rather than when the organization receives the payment for it, or when it issues an invoice for it. And finally, disclosure requires that information anyone assessing the organization's financial standing would need is included in the reporting of the organization's financial status.